you raised Material Impact Fund One, Carmichael, you had come out of a successful 10-year plus career at Northbridge. To take yourself back to that time, and particularly for some of the other diverse GPs who might be listening in, talk about that fundraising process. What was it like as a diverse manager raising capital from institutional investors?
I think just in general, raising a first fund is hard, even if you happen to be a white male. So let's first just say that, so already you're just wading into an area where even if you happen to represent what 90% of the industry looks like, or whatever, percentage is that high, it's non-trivial. And so, but then if you layer onto this, the fact that I've got an unusual thesis, maybe let me say even affectionately weird, in the sense that the literal definition of weird is is unusual and different, and like, whoa, that's a weird item. I think it's weird in a good way. I have an unusual background. I'm not even though I've been in venture for a while, like I said, I'm a scientist entrepreneur, so I'm not a finance guy. And then to your point, Alan, I'm a Black man who certainly, when I walk in the door, it doesn't look like who you're used to seeing. And everybody, including myself, has bias. Anybody who tells themselves that they don't is not being open-minded and objective. Everybody has bias. So, depending on your bias, could be one thing or another, it could be worse or better, but you have preconceived notions and you have bias. And I can't imagine that when I was out, describing what I'm doing, that I was central casting for what someone would imagine. So, like I said, it would be hard enough as is. So I had a lot of things that one would pop in their mind and say, that's got to be hard. Now, let's also look at the positive side. I worked at a wonderful storied firm that had a tremendous reputation, especially in its early days at Northbridge. My partners at Northbridge, the majority of them backed me in my new fund. And I'm so thankful for that. Some of them are extremely good friends today, and I'm really thankful for them, and I have a lot of love for what they did in teaching me the venture business. I had LPs that were in the Northbridge portfolio who knew me and supported me, which I know went a long way and given some validation. But as you know firsthand, my friend, because I came to Fairview and talked to you, that when we started talking, I needed to get a few firms to hold on to my thesis and hold on to who I was. Adam was a brand new GP. It was his first time doing this business. And it took me a while to raise that fund. You were part of the first close, which, at that time we were talking about raising $70 million and we wanted to close on 30. And you were a handful of new relationships that we got. That was hard. I mean, that was really hard. And what scares me a bit, and then just to complete the story, we ended up, surpassing our cap. It took us over 2 years, and we ended up at $110 million fund when we had $70 million target and technically $100 million soft cap and that thing. So the story ended great, but I like to tell people the reality, which is that was a slog, which actually made me think about if someone with my background and set of credentials had that hard a time and it ended up great, what does that mean for all of those who may not have the academic background that I had, an entrepreneurial background, and the opportunity to be a GP at a large firm and establish those relationships and learn and prepare for doing that? Pretty difficult. And so I felt fortunate, but I also felt very humbled in that, wow, this is non-trivial.